For years, I was in love with short stories written by Anton Chekov, but these 5 short novels are not only the best choices to start reading Chekov, but also to start a reading process generally. Hello and welcome back to another video about literature. My name is Sohail, and if you're interested in topics related to literature, reading, literary criticism and so on, hit that subscribe button to watch my future videos as well. Anton Chekov is one of the greatest writers of Russian literature, and I love this writer very much. This is one of my favorite writers, and I read lots of plays, dramatic plays, also short stories by this author, but today I'm going to introduce a volume of 5 short novels, let's say novellas by Anton Chekov, which is very important and very suitable to start reading Chekov. This volume is very, very valuable. Actually, I love Russian literature as a general. I mean, the kind of realism they are provoking is very pure and well structured. Tolstoy, Gogol, Chekhov himself, Dostoevsky, and so on. These are the writers whose realism is well depicted, and one of the best countries, one of the best kinds of literature in realism is Russian literature. And now this volume in my hand is Anton Chekov's The Complete Short Novels, published by Vintage Classics. This is one of the best volumes available in terms of Chekov's short novels. It gathered his best 5 short novels I'm going to introduce today, and this is a very valuable volume and very good collection for you to start reading Chekov. It is very good and well structured. So without waste of time, let's go to this valuable volume of short novels by Anton Chekov. I will refer to the names of the stories so you can find them separately if you want, or you can also very easily have this volume in your hands and enjoy reading these short novels. Let's discuss about them. The first short novel in this volume is The Steppe, a pivotal work in Chekov's artistic movement, because in this novel it seems that he is switching to a kind of serious literature and closes the door on the world of his childhood. Of course, I'm not going to spoil the story for you, but the novel follows a 9-year-old boy's journey by train across the immensity of southern Russia, and this journey is very important because if you know about this, in Russian literature and especially in realistic literature, we see always a character who is growing. We see a character who is going to a journey, who is going to develop throughout the story, and this kind of a symbolic journey is present in most of the realistic novels we have, especially in the case of Russia, and especially also in the case of Anton Chekov. It is very interesting that the structure and prose of the novel is something new, and we don't see such thing in the previous works of Anton Chekov, and this is something new. So it seems that he is moving from a childhood and childish style of writing to a mature kind of style of writing. I mean, we see a kind of lyrical style, musically structured, full of alliterations and rhymes in this novel, which is unique in the career of Anton Chekov. The novel seems to be influenced by Gogol's novel Dead Souls, in that it is also plotless. I mean, we have a series of actions and events without internal connections, which is a kind of Gogol style, and it seems that Chekov is influenced by that. However, we don't see such thing as plotless in later works of Chekov. So this is something established and then finished very soon. The second short novel is, of course, his famous The Duel, which is ironically his longest work of fiction. The duel of the story dramatizes, before its literal sense, a conflict between two main phases in Russian thought in the 19th century. I mean, the liberal idealism of 1840s and the rational egoism of 1860s. According to a critic, which I cannot remember his name right now, the story dramatizes the animosity between a dissipate romantic and a cold-blooded scientist in a seedy resort town. Very beautiful description. When you are reading the Duel, you think you are reading a serious, tragic story, but the story ends by deceiving all your expectations. We do not have a single point of view in this story, and Chekov seems to enter the characters' minds and narrate the story from different perspectives, which is a modernist technique of a stream of consciousness. Let me explain a little more about this. It is like a communion of consciousnesses, which is masterful, but it stays at the level of isolated and impenetrable consciousnesses. I mean, it stays here and not coming out. We do not see dialogues about it. It's all here. It starts here and it finishes here. This is very important. So we see a polyphony of voices in the minds of the character. And this is a kind of masterful use of a stream of consciousness. The third short novel is the story of an unknown man. The narrator of the story is an unnamed man, which later on we come to know him as Stepan. He is a former naval officer turned radical and now gets himself hired as a servant in the house of a young rich man named Orlov in order to spy on his father, who is a well-known elder statesman, and in order to finally assassinate him. Very interesting things are going to happen in the next pages of this novel, which I'm not going to spoil. Be sure to read this novel. It is very short and very important, and you probably will enjoy reading it. This novella is one of the greatest samples of Chekov's portrait of the human conditions and human beings, which is one of the features of his writing and also one of the features of Dostoevsky's writing, to portray the pictures, different pictures of human beings. And in this novel, we see three contrasting pictures of idealism, hypocrisy, and innocence at the same time, which is psychologically significant. The next short novel, which I think is number 4, is 3 Years by Chekov, which is one of his famous novels regarding the issues of women and the ideas he has about women, and he draws on his life experiences he had with women. This novella shows lots of autobiographical hints about the lovely relationships Chekov had in his life and the complexities he experienced and the problems he had in face of women and in face of these lovely relationships. The story has 2 heroines, a young, beautiful lady and also an edgy, unattractive intellectual. We have also a 35-year-old hero like Chekov himself at that time, who is caught between the 2 worlds of love and unlove. And we also observe the development of the character of that young, beautiful lady by the end of the novel, which is very significant as well as symbolic. The final short novel is My Life. Among these 5 novels, this novel is the closest one to Chekov's own life and his experiences. In this story, Chekov narrates his experiences of living 2 decades in Russia, the populist idea of going to the land and modernist values, and also the Tolstoyan idea of radical simplification, virtues of hard labor, and also the rejection of class distinction. And this story shows how Chekov was influenced by the ideas of Tolstoy in the 1880s. This is a very educational story, and we can say reading this story can change your attitude and your thoughts about living and life and so on. We can say that this story is a portrait of a self-deluded idealist pursuing a utopian life in the country. I'm very delighted that I introduced this volume to you because when we talk about Chekov, the main focus is on his short stories and a number of his plays. And sometimes people talk about the Duel, but not other stories. So try this, and I hope you like reading it as I did. And be sure to subscribe and like videos if you think this channel adds value. Thanks for watching. Take care.